G'day guys, my name is Danny Bird. I'm a PGA professional based here at the Carlbrook Golf Club in southeast Queensland, Australia. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the differences between chipping and pitching. There is a distinction. It's important to understand that distinction because it's likely to save you a few shots throughout the round. Okay, so we're going to start with chipping. Very simply, guys, that for me, the task of chipping is a shot where the ball is located anywhere between the fringe of the green and a maximum of 5 paces from the edge, okay? When we get inside this space, our objective is to get the golf ball onto the floor and to get it rolling out. So our flight's going to be that much lower. So a chip shot really is going to have a much lower flight than that of a pitch. In saying that, we're then having to select the appropriate club. Now this is where a lot of players tend to make the mistake. If we're going to be hitting a chip shot and we want the flight to be low, we want the golf ball on the ground and we want it rolling out, we really should be looking to select a slightly lower lofted club. So whenever I'm hitting a greenside chip shot, so within that 3 to 5 meter space from the edge of the green, I do like to have either a 9-iron, an 8-iron or a 7-iron. I want the golf ball to get onto the putting surface as quickly as possible and rolling out as quickly as possible. One of the key things to note about chipping is the actual technique is a very simple one. It's what we call a low skill technique. You don't have to have a depth of knowledge to be able to stand up and hit a greenside chip shot. So a basic greenside chip shot for you guys, we will select, say, a 9-iron for this particular shot. When we address the golf ball, our stance is going to be a little bit narrower than we would potentially have for a pitch shot. So I like to have approximately 2 club head widths. We would place the golf ball into the center line of the stance, okay? So between the left toe, the right toe, in the middle there. I'm going to go down the grip on the club that I'm using. So we wouldn't hold it all the way at the top, but I'm not going to go all the way to the baseline either. I'm going to hold the club in the middle of the handle. When we get into this setup position here, what I'm then thinking about, and this is a thought process, it's very easy to implement for you guys, is that I have a triangle between my shoulders and my hands. And I'm trying my best to keep that triangle intact, meaning that I turn back and I turn through. You'll notice that I have very limited, if any, movement of my hands. I'm trying to avoid changing the loft on the club by having too much hand motion. And again, many players who struggle with the definition or the difference between chipping and pitching, when they start chipping greenside, we tend to see a lot of hand action. That's going to affect launch and spin and roll, and ultimately, guys, we want it super simple and super easy. So once we go down the grip and we create this triangle here, we're trying to maintain that. I'm very simply going to be using my torso to turn back and through. As you can see here, limited hand motion. Guys, that very simply is then going to help me propel the golf ball onto the green with a very low flight and have it running out. The task then is for me to learn the feeling of how far back do I swing dependent on the shot length. But if that's the only thing we have to contend with, if that's the only thought process that we need is to work on the swing length, the shot becomes that much easier. We're not worried about all the other variables that could potentially occur within the swing. So we'll set ourselves up here, set the ball into the middle of the stance here, slightly down the grip, nice and neutral pressure, and we're going to try to keep that triangle as one. So you guys can't see, but that actually finished in the hole, and I only wish I was videoing from the other side for you there. But there you have it, guys. Low flighted, low skill required, plenty of rollout, easy to execute, and really simple and easy to practice. So guys, that would be what I consider a chip shot, and that's the technique for chipping around the green. So let's have a look at what we mean when we say we're going to be working on our pitching. Okay, so what is a pitch shot? Simply put, guys, a pitch shot for me is a shot that occurs from between 5 paces from the edge of the green up to about 50 meters. So it's quite a wide ranging shot. One of the things that we will always have is that a pitch shot will have a much higher flight than that of a chip shot. That's important. We're going to see more spin on the golf ball. Again, that's important. We're going to be a little bit more aggressive with the swing motion. We're also going to be flying it a lot further and a lot closer to the pin. When we hit a pitch shot, we're less likely to see additional rollout. So with that in mind, we would choose a lofted wedge. So for this video, I've picked my 56-degree wedge. A couple of key changes with the setup when we go into hitting a pitch shot. I like players when they're hitting a pitch to have their stance width just inside a shoulder width apart. So it's not quite a full swing setup, but it is still pretty wide. And the reason being is this will create stability, but still maintain mobility throughout the swing, which we need. The actual setup itself, the golf ball position would still be in the center of the stance, okay? I'm not trying to vary that up too much. Our left hand will be positioned slightly ahead of the golf ball. And when I'm hitting the pitch shot, I'm going to take only about a half an inch or so from the top of the club. The reason why I choose to go down the grip is it aids me in taking some distance off of the shot. Gives me a little bit more feel and a little bit more control over the swing. If we hold the club at the top, we're far more likely to see players slowing down, digging the club into the ground and making plenty of mistakes. So we take about a half an inch or so off the top of the grip. The swing itself, the triangle that we had for our chipping is going to disappear essentially because we're going to be engaging our wrists in this particular swing motion. And it's by engaging our wrists that we can increase our attack angle, enabling us to get the club to work down to the golf ball, which will then get us putting spin on the ball. What you can utilize in this range of shot for pitching is what we'd call the old clock system. So we can set ourselves up and we can try to swing the club to 9 o'clock, or we might want to swing it to say 7, or we might want to swing it up to say 11. We have variations of the backswing length for when we pitch that will create a particular flight and also create a particular carry length for us. So if you're really looking to improve your pitching in that space, consider that. But what we're going to do is ensure that we pivot in the backswing. So my left knee is going to be moving over my left shoe here. That's important. My right side begins to rotate. My chest is going to turn. I'm going to be adding this loft onto the club. So again, different to that of a greenside chip shot. As we take the club away here, where I'd be wearing a glove traditionally, that's pointing towards the camera here. I've added some loft onto the club. We want loft. Loft is our friend when playing this particular shot. Really, really crucial and very, very important. We need to be aggressive through the hitting area. Far too often I see players swing back too big and then slow down. We want the opposite. When we're hitting a pitch shot, we want a little bit more, club head speed through the ball, because that club head speed is going to enable us again to create some spin. So that's important to do that. So with all those things in mind, we'll get ourselves set up here, have slightly wider stance, ball position in the middle, ever so slightly down the grip. We're going to engage the wrist motion here. I'm going to swing the club so that I feel like my backswing length is in and around that 9 to 10 o'clock range. We're then going to turn the body through, and probably really, really importantly is to get that finish position, which for you guys watching here, we would turn our body to face the target with our hands out in front of our body line. Again, really, really important. We far too often see players when they're pitching, keep the body still and throw the wrists at the shot, which we don't want to do. We're going to use our torso to our advantage. And there you have it, guys. Such a simple action, such a simple motion, but that there is a pitch shot in a nutshell. So it's key to understand that if you're out playing and you're using the wrong setup, the wrong action, the wrong technique for either of those two shots, you're going to feel like you're a poor short game player. But it's very, very simple. Understand the distinction between both, and now you do. Go get some practice in and work on it, and you're going to see your pitching improve, your chipping improve, and your scores improve. Guys, as always, please don't forget to like this video if you found it useful and helpful. Drop me a comment. I'm more than happy to have a chat with anyone in the comment section about anything relating to this video, or if you need any help with your game in particular. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out when those videos get released. And above all else, guys, make sure you click that little bell, because then you will get notified immediately when the videos are dropped. Until next time, happy golfing.